Hi guys, welcome to the Oasis Healing Temple. For today's reading, we are asking for messages from the Heart Chakra. We're doing a reading on the heart to see what messages want to come through, if there's any blockages or any other information that our heart wants you to know. We have 3 different piles. We're going to get our significator cards now to help you choose your readings. We have done a reading on the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. So this is a continuum of the chakra readings. So let's find a card for the heart chakra pile number 1, please. Just one card for pile number 1. Alright, how many we have? We got 2. We'll take the 2. So we have the forest for number 1. Pile number 2, please. Okay. We have the offering. There's a couple cards there, so more than one wanted to come out with the different readings. But we'll just look at the top card for now. Pile number 3, please. Can we get pile number 3? We actually have the heart. That's awesome. Alright, these wanted to come out as well. So I'm going to put these under the top card. Alright, let's see what we have for pile number 1. You have the forest card with rose quartz. Pile number 2, there are several cards. We have the offering with green Aventurine. And pile number 3, you have the heart with the strawberry quartz. Alright, if you need more time to meditate, just pause the video. If you know which reading is already speaking to you, you may be drawn to more than one, and that's fine. The timestamps will be listed in the description box below. And I will see you all at your readings. These are just too big and too close together. There. Sorry guys, it's gotta look good for me. Alright, there we go. Hi, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the rose quartz with the forest. So let's see what other card wanted to come out with the forest. Ooh, we have the nectar. So you have the forest and the nectar. Alright, let's start with the forest card. So the forest symbolizes a journey, a quest of getting lost in that quest, but at the same time also finding oneself within that journey. You know, it's a journey of self-discovery. Think of when you're a child and you're walking like into the forest for the first time. It kind of has that, you know, enchanted feeling where, you know, you're going on an adventure, but then you can easily get scared at the same time because, you know, it's hard to find your way out once you're in the center of the forest. So there can be a little bit of scariness to being lost but then found. So, and we have it with the nectar card. So this is the healing journey. This is the medicine of having gone within, gone into the shadows, into the darkness, facing the fears, and then finding the healing within. The nectar, the healing, the ointment that soothes the wound, you know, by going on this spiritual journey, the healing of the heart. Now either you've done this or you're going through it now. You're on the spiritual quest to retrieve the healing. All right, let's see. I noticed in the last reading these weren't on the camera, so I tried to zoom out a little bit more to get these on there. All right, so let's place the rose quartz up here. All right, we have Rama and Sita, holy union, soulmate connection, romantic opportunity. We have Thoth, divine magic, the teacher awakens, oops, the student becomes the master. Ooh. Yeah, you've been on this healing journey and you have mastered and balanced your masculine and feminine energy and made that soul connection within. We have imagine. Yeah, this is the third eye activation here. And we see this crown that is lit up. So this is a crown, third eye activation, heart healing here. The upper chakras are all being engaged at this moment. So there's an upgrade that's taking place in your spiritual body. Within the heart space, some divine knowledge is coming in for you. Opening and activating that third eye, helping you to expand and see past the illusions. Yeah, you're able to see through the masks that people wear. You're able to see through the lies, the deception, the illusion of the 3D. Maybe you yourself are taking off your mask and standing in your truth and your authenticity. Yeah, learning to understand yourself better, understanding with a higher perception, seeing things from a higher perception. We have the arrow. Surround yourself with protective energy. You've learned how to protect your heart, set those healthy boundaries, knowing who is worthy of your energy, who's worthy of your heart, who's worthy of having that soul connection with you. Learning when somebody's trying to be deceptive and deceive your heart, try and manipulate your energy and your empathy. You know, there's a lot of people out there who love to play the victim card, and they enjoy, you know, the attention that they get from having, you know, struggles and never seeming to get things right, and not understanding that they're their own problem, that they're creating their reality through their beliefs and through their thoughts and their energies. And they just enjoy somebody having empathy for them. And when you have a big heart, it's like hard not to have empathy for others, right? But it's not our job to do the work for them. It's on them to go within and understand themselves and understand why this is their experience. And it's on you to set those healthy boundaries so that you're not over-giving, oversharing, and pouring into those buckets with holes. We have night, be brave and honest. That's you being honest with yourself, honest with others, and setting those healthy boundaries. It's okay to have love and empathy for others, but it's not okay for them to manipulate and gaslight you or deceive you into relationships with them, you know, or to just use you essentially just to like dump all of their negativity and their struggles on, because let's say you're somebody who transmutes negative energy and you're such a kind, empathic soul that it's easy for people to come to you and tell you their troubles, but it's not for you to take on their struggles and their pain for yourself. And it's hard to do that sometimes until you learn how to set those healthy boundaries. And with this reading, you are learning how to do that. You're learning how to protect your heart and conserve your energy for those who are more deserving, those who are doing the work. They're trying to pass the class, you know, they're doing their lessons. They may have a little struggle here and there, but they're in it and they're doing it and they're not complaining about it. those are the people who are worthy of helping and, you know, getting in there and trying to help them, you know, come out of their forest, give them a little guiding hand a little bit, but not do their work. But you're allowed to offer help and offer wisdom only if they're coming to seek it from you. But know when somebody's just looking for attention versus somebody who's really truly like, oh my goodness, I need your opinion or I need your advice, you know, and they actually consider the advice. It's not that they, you know, others shouldn't. The thing with some people is that you can offer your advice to them, and if they take your advice and things don't work out, they end up blaming you. And that can happen with people who are, you know, a little bit narcissistic because they don't want to take any responsibility for their own life and their own choices. They always want to place blame on somebody else, but nobody forced you to make that choice. The choice is yours, and this was just the advice that I gave you. It was on you to make your own decision, to take my counsel, but to also like take counsel within your own self to make the wisest choice for you, you know, not because you're trying to do it for me. This is my advice. You asked for my advice, and that was my advice. You know, that's it. We have stop, ideation. Ideation, that's like a specific thought or holding something to a certain standard, I believe, to a certain degree, a certain level. Let me look this up real quick. Ideation. Ideation, a formation of ideas or concepts. Okay, let's get a different one. We have the little action, forming ideas or conceptions, an application or an implication. Okay. Let's see what else we have in the cards to give us a little more insight into the ideation here. Certain belief systems that need healing or correcting, and that could have been what you went on the spiritual journey to achieve, was correcting that imbalance there. May have been something in the root chakra. We have goddess of creation, transformation, creativity, and wholeness. Yeah, I believe it was something in the root, a certain thought pattern that you may have had, a perspective on life, on certain situations and relationships, and I feel like you have gotten a higher perspective on things by learning to set those healthy boundaries for yourself and protecting your heart. Ooh, we have sacred heart, passion, love, and spiritual communion. Move that rose quartz up a little bit. And that is a 12, which is a 3, and we have a 7 over here. So lots of spiritual energy, lots of creative abilities, more passion, more love for yourself, love for others, love for Source Creator. Yeah, and you're being asked to be honest with yourself and the way that you feel, you know, and the way that you see yourself, the way that you love, the way that you connect to other people, and surrounding yourself with people who value you and honor and respect your boundaries and equally want respect and you know, honesty and loyalty as well from a relationship and a friendship or in a partnership even. So, and there's nothing wrong in asking for that in a relationship. That is something that is idealistic, you know, but maybe there's a little bit of, sometimes there can be unrealistic expectations from certain individuals because they're so broken and in so much pain and struggling through their lessons that they cannot give you, you know, that type of love because they're lacking that within themselves. They're withholding that from themselves. So for them to give it to somebody else, you know, I don't think it's within their ability to, because they don't know yet how to give it to themselves. So it's learning who somebody is and understanding who somebody is and the level of their awareness, their level of and their capability to be able to love you based on the way that they love and treat themselves and how do they value themselves. And the more you learn to do this for who you are and learn to do that also for you, loving yourself, setting healthy boundaries, setting expectations for respect and loyalty, that's nothing that is, egotistical or too high of a bar set for somebody to meet those types of expectations, because they're realistic, I feel like the more that you learn to love yourself and see yourself and love and practice that self-care and that self-love and pour into your own cup, you will attract others who will do that same thing. And this is learning how to heal, connect to your truth, to see yourself from a pure perspective, a more balanced perspective, and transforming, the past and bringing it, that healing, understanding, and nurturing energy to transform it, which will then bring you this feeling of wholeness within, because you're no longer looking outside of yourself for anybody to make you whole. You're already whole. You just have to heal whatever's making you believe that you're not whole. And it is that feeling of not being good enough, and it comes from our childhood, and some time during our development in our young years, there was someone we were seeking validation from that made us feel or believe that we weren't good enough, and sometimes that can be society, that can be our friends, it can be our siblings, it can be our parents, it can be somebody in the family, just certain words that people say that kind of, cut to the core. And it's a tape that you end up saying to yourself all the time, and it's because you've formed a belief system about yourself around this person's perspective and point of view, and you kind of like have turned against yourself in a way and are saying, yes, I agree with that. Oh, I do agree with that. I must be, I am. And you've identified yourself as such. And so now it's time, if you haven't already, to go on that journey within and to get lost, but then found, and bring that healing energy to yourself, and learning to love yourself and validating yourself, validating your feelings, validating your truth, and being honest with who you are. Okay. I wanted to get some animal messages from you guys, some animal totems, spirits. Let's get some messages from your guides real quick from the Heart Chakra. Any more messages from the heart? And visualize yourself being happy. Visualize yourself being in this healthy relationships. Work with your affirmations. I'm worthy, I'm deserving of healthy partnership. I'm worthy and deserving of love and honesty. And I'm honest with myself. I acknowledge my feelings. I acknowledge my boundaries. I openly accept love. I forgive myself and others. Things like this to help heal and nurture that heart chakra, to open it up to receiving. Let's tap in to the heart chakra of pile number 1, please. Can we get some animal support? Animals are very connected to our emotional bodies. They help us heal our emotional selves. That's why they are used so much in therapies with people who have been in traumatic life situations, especially like war veterans. Having to work with animals helps them open up the heart chakra and feel more connected, because sometimes it's hard for them to reintegrate back into society, because a lot of people, are very broken, they're very selfish, and these people have seen like the worst of humans. They've seen them in their most vile, greedy, killing, animalistic mind, you know, and it can be very daunting to come back around and be around, you know, other people, other humans. And so to connect to animals feels more safe, more healing, more trusting, because animals don't want anything from us other than like love and respect and appreciation, you know. And they can sense danger and they sense fear. So they teach us to tap back into our emotional selves, and they're very good at healing our hearts and working on opening our heart chakras. So that's why I wanted to work with the animal kingdom to see what they can help us tap into our emotions a little bit and what messages they may offer you about your emotional body. So we have the deer with love, be gentle with yourself. You heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Acknowledge your self-worth and grace. What beautiful confirmation. You know, deer are very sensitive creatures, and they do have a sense of grace about them. When they're walking through nature, they do their best not to hurt the plants, you know. They are very gentle when they're lifting up the branches. They're very, you know, very sensitive. So I feel like this is you, highly empathic, very sensitive to others, and your heart chakra may have experienced a little bit of damage because of that sensitivity, and you're being asked to open it back up to connect and find some way to connect, whether it's going out in nature and connecting to the plant kingdom or the animal kingdom, if it's working with crystals, joining a community of like-minded souls who kind of feel or into the same types of, you know, passions that you are, things that you're passionate about, if it's gardening or baking or crafting, painting, trying to find like-minded people to have a soul connection with who are very gentle like you. That will help you heal and open up that heart chakra so you can be more trusting and begin to open your heart back up, but making sure that you are protected, because you've been through the worst of it, you know. You've been in the brush and you've been in the shadows, and it's time for you to heal and get your wits about you and open yourself up for this healing and transformation so that you can begin the journey or step back onto the path and opening yourself up. But now you've learned how to protect yourself and love yourself, and it's time for you to be brave and, you know, begin again. Pile number 2. We have elephant, greatness. Love is your strength. Leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. Ooh, and this is a, you know, it's an elephant. Elephants are very wise. They're very matriarchal, and they're very family-oriented. You know, they mourn for their dead ones, for their deceased, you know. They have such a sweet, wise soul, and I feel like you resonate a lot with these creatures here. Very old, ancient soul, very wise, very empathic, very sensitive. And so you do need to protect yourself when you're going out there into the world. But it's time for you to be brave and to open yourself up, because you're needed. We need your sensitivity. This is what you're being called to do. There's a reason why you're so sensitive. Because to feel deeply, to feel, it's a telepathic energy. It's a gift to feel, because society in this world and the way that we're headed is the objective is to numb us from pain, to stop us from having, you know, empathy for one another, for seeing the truth of our souls, for seeing people as just being humans and making mistakes, and you know, just trying to make the best of their life. And instead they're trying to desensitize us to violence and to hate and to anger and separation, and they want us all against one another instead of truly trying to connect and understand the other person's point of view through their experience, because that's where we get our perspective. Our perspective comes from everything that we've experienced in our life and through other people forcing their opinions onto us. And because we haven't found the strength to stand in our truth, to know what our opinion is, we just go with the crowd and we go with what everybody else says, because a lot of people don't have the courage to stand up and say, no, I don't agree, because they're afraid to stand out. They're afraid to go against the crowd. They don't, and I think that comes from past lives where people were stoned to death, people were hung, people were killed, set on fire because they were different, or because they had an opinion that was different than everybody else's. And now in these times, you're allowed to have an opinion, and your opinion does matter, but everybody's got an opinion, So, and it's just, everybody is allowed to have an opinion because it's from their experience, but we can't force it on anybody. We can't force your opinion for somebody else to change their belief system. It's really on each individual to find their own truth and to stand in their truth because they've experienced it. And that's where we get our wisdom from, is through our experience. And people, you can have knowledge all day long, but we don't attain wisdom until we experience something, and it gets recorded in our heart space. So everything that you've ever learned and been through, it gets recorded and documented in our heart. And so if there's something that you just can't possibly fathom and understand how anybody can do this and why someone can be like that, it is because you yourself haven't been through that experience, which means eventually in an incarnation you'll be born into that experience so that you can understand and have perspective on it, and therefore you won't be able to judge anybody because you will have gone through it yourself. And anybody who has empathy for others is because you have been there in one life or another, and you know what that feels like, and that's why you could never do that, is because you have done that, but you know what the consequences of that is because you've learned the lesson. So, and that comes with the wisdom that you carry within. So your very old soul, pile number 3. Last card, we have the grizzly bear, power. I am indestructible. I honor my intuition and go where it leads. Love and gentleness are my real strength. I never give up. I will succeed. Ooh, I just got emotional for you. All right, pile number 3. You have a big heart. Very empathic. And this world can be very harsh sometimes. But it's okay for you now to stand in your truth. You are being called to own your power, to open your heart and to shine your light and to share your truth. And you will meet more people like you. You will find those deeply empathic, sensitive people who are also here on the journey, who have felt the same way, because we've been here a long time. And we've all had to hide ourselves away because of what happened in past incarnations, and so we were hiding our light, hiding our sensitivity to the things of this world and the pain that this world, has been in for so long. And we've come here to help heal Mother Earth and help heal the hearts of man. So that is why you are being called to step forward into your power now, into your greatness, with your love, with your big, beautiful heart, and to shine that. The world needs it desperately now. We're being called to step forward and to anchor this energy in, to share our love, share our truth, share our vision and our perspective, and to dispel the illusion, to dispel the fear, and to heal mankind. Ooh. Pile number 1. I'm not sure if I called you pile number 3 earlier. I apologize if I did. Whew, my heart. I'm gonna have to take a break after this. But I'm sending you all my love, pile number 1, and I'm so grateful to have you here. My heart is very big and expanded at this moment, so I hope you truly feel my love for you. And if this reading resonates with you, thank you so much for being a part of my channel and spending some time with me today. I'm sending you all of my love and light. Y'all, please take care. Whew. Joining you and shining that light, pile number 1. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day. To your reading, pile number 2, you chose the offering card with the green Aventurine. Green Aventurine is a crystal that helps you to clear away negative emotional patterns, which is great for working with the Heart Chakra. It helps calm any of the lower energetic emotions, such as like anger or jealousy, things that are focused on the solar plexus, like resentment, things like that. And it helps to encourage you to focus more on a place of hope and gratitude and positive approaches to your life. So this is a great crystal to work with if you are experiencing any of those emotional energies. And we have that with the offering. And typically with the offering, it is surrendering something. So it's surrendering an emotion or an experience of pain, or maybe even an individual. You know, it's creating shifts in our patterns and in our lives and letting go and surrendering something. So let's see which other cards want to come out. Actually, that was the last card. So we have the underworld. This is like the programs and the patterns and the pain and the illusions. It's like the suffering. So you're being asked to surrender. Let's continue on. Hang on. We have the comic and the shapeshifter. Right, great. So we're on the right path. You're being asked to shift your perspectives on some of the pain that you've experienced, and surrendering and letting go and seeing things from a higher perspective, and bringing your, with the comic, is bringing your, like, a lightness to the situation. And it's not like, sometimes it's good to have a sense of humor about things, and typically we don't get to the humor phase of being able to look back on things and having like, oh my God, I cannot believe I did that. I cannot believe like I tolerated that, you know, and it's having that self-forgiveness. Because you're able to see things now from a higher perspective, you're able to shift your focus and not looking at things from such a narrow point of view. You know, you're able to look backwards and understand who you were at that time frame and what your consciousness was. What was your awareness? What were your struggles, your belief systems? What were you going through at this moment in time? And what was the lesson that you were learning? Because we're always learning. Earth is a school. We're always, everything is a lesson. And so this was a class that you took. This was the lesson that you are learning. Have you learned the lesson from this experience? And if you have, then you're being asked to surrender and let it go, and to move forward and have, you know, a sense of humor about it. Let go of your anger. Let go of your resentment from this experience, because it is what has made you the person you are today, you know. And I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of freedom that comes from letting this go. You know, when we hold on to our pain, and we hold on to our fears, it actually gives it more power. It gives us more control. It gives the pain and the fear more control over us, because we're not surrendering and we're not letting it go. We're not dealing with it. And the more you end up ignoring it, the bigger it gets and the more fuel you're feeding it. So you're being asked to confront the situation, bring your higher perspective into it, and create some kind of shift in perspective, so that you're not sitting in the pain and the torment of this experience anymore. Surrender and allow yourself to receive more love, more insight, to create more space for that loving energy to come in, so that you feel more grateful and have more hope in your life, more compassion, more understanding, more love, etc. But you have to let go of something in your past here, some kind of emotion, some kind of pain, an experience. We have Hanuman, I'm not sure how to say his name, you guys. A devoted warrior, let God's love hold you in strength. Yeah, you're being asked to face this fear and to bring this healing into this situation, into this pain that you experienced, this heartache that you went through, and to create some positive shifts for yourself. Ooh, Joan of Arc, sacred activists, do not be afraid, stand up for your beliefs. Yes, set them healthy boundaries for yourself. Protect your heart, and I feel like that's probably what you've been doing, is protecting your heart. But it's still, you know, you can end up walling your emotions off and stopping yourself from feeling certain things because it's too painful to think about those memories and those thoughts, but it doesn't stop it. Like, they still keep coming because they want to be released. They want to be healed. They want to be transformed. They want acknowledgement that this is your truth. This was your experience. You know, it was real for you and it hurt you. And it was teaching you something about yourself, how to love yourself more, how to understand yourself on a deeper level, how to set healthy boundaries, how you want to be treated, how you don't want to be treated, the type of love that you want and the type of love that you deserve. You know, everything was teaching you something. Saint Germain, violet flame, alchemy, release the old and make way for the new. Work with Saint Germain. He can help you transmute these energies, transform them into so that you can bring more peace and more love. Once you identify like the situation, the pain, and I'm sure it's already coming up for you, the situation or the memory, and you're being asked to cut the cords to the past and to send them away with love and peace and honoring the experience, honoring the person that's involved in the situation, whatever it was. They were your teacher. These were some hard lessons that you had to learn, and they volunteered. They signed a contract with you. I'll be the bad guy. I will teach you this hard lesson. And in the end, once you've learned the lesson and you understand why you had chosen this experience, it was to teach you something. You know, you learn something through this experience. We have to go through things in order to appreciate the opposite of that. So you have to go through feeling unloved and abandoned in order to feel, you know, loved and appreciated. Because if we didn't have the duality of both things in existence, you wouldn't understand the value and the worth of the good, of the actual love, right relationships. If you haven't experienced, you know, negative, toxic relationships, you know what I'm saying? So that is the duality that we're here to experience, so that we attain the wisdom and the understanding from the energies. And when you identify the truth of the situation, when you find the healing elixir, you know, what was I learning from this experience, and what do I need to surrender? What do I need to let go? And who do I need to forgive? This person and myself for, you know, putting myself into this kind of situation, or allowing myself to be vulnerable in order to learn a hard lesson, you know what I mean? Because I needed to learn this wisdom so that I can pass this class, you know, and I can move forward with this awareness, with this information, so I don't have to repeat this cycle anymore. I don't have to go through the same experience ever again, because I've learned through this experience. And work with Saint Germain to help you cut those cords and help purify this experience and bring more love and more light, more healing into your heart space here, so that you can open up and make way for new experiences. We have Yang, which is a masculine energy. So you have more passion, more things that you're passionate about versus using anger. Anger teaches us to set boundaries for ourselves. When we feel disrespected and we feel, that somebody has crossed the line and they're taking advantage of you, or they're just being extremely disrespectful or disloyal, that is our alert system telling us to set boundaries for this individual. They do not have good intentions for you, and they will just hurt your heart, and keep them at a distance because they're not careful with themselves. They're not careful with their words, with their energy. They're very, sloppy. They're not completely aware of themselves and the pain that they're causing other individuals. So you need to protect your heart against those people. Set a boundary. Doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life. I mean, if they're super toxic, then yes, you need to definitely cut ties with those people and individuals. And it's really hard if they're family members. I completely understand. I've had to do that myself. But if these are just associates, then yeah, by all means, set those boundaries as much as you can. Avoid those people. Don't go around them, because they're going to, become the victim and want your empathy, sympathy, and drain you of your love light. Okay, we have truth be told. See the truth of the situation. And take the mask off. See through the illusion. Look past the surface of things and go deeper. Go within a little more. And it requires you to open and expand your mind, and to shift the angles around, looking at things from different perspectives and different angles, and not just this one point of view, this one perspective. You're being asked to shift. Okay, so super funny thing, very relatable to this message. So my video just shut off in the middle of this recording, and I had already pulled out the rest of your cards, and then I looked up and saw that we were no longer recording. And it said that my storage was full. And it's like, okay, so that's the message. There's, and when I was deleting the, my storage and everything, it was 15 megabytes that we're deleting. And which is so funny, because we have a 1 and a 5 here, and it's this new beginning and shifts in the new beginning. And then the storage being full, it's like this memory it needs to be cleansed. It needs to be cleared. You've got all the information you can out of this situation, and I feel like you are being asked to let go of some things so that you can make more room, which is very synchronistic. It's time for you to let some stuff go, open yourself up so that you can receive more wisdom, more insight, more perspective, more blessings. It's like holding on to an anchor and dragging it around with you, and it's just weighing you down. And it's time for you to cut the anchor and let it go so that you can move forward. But it requires you to have a different perspective and seeing things from a different point of view. We have the Lord. Take charge with authority. Yes. Stand in your power. It's time for you to take your power back and reclaim your power, your authority over your own energy, over your own mind, over your emotions, and no longer allowing this force to be in control over you. Because the more you deny the way that you feel and deny your fears, the stronger and bigger they get and seem. And when you can stand up to them and face them and try to understand where they come from, why are they there, you bring this perspective, you bring your light, you bring your focus onto the situation, and you end up dissolving it. And it dissipates because you're now looking at it, you're not running away from it. And then it starts to dissolve, and when you can understand things from a different perspective and you bring a different point of view onto the situation by understanding who you were at that moment in time and why you had chose this for yourself and what you were trying to learn, that's the healing energy, the healing elixir. It expands your mind, it opens your mind to seeing things and appreciating things. We have move in a new direction. Yeah, it's time for you to move forward. Time for you to let this go. Father Sky, trust in the unknown. We have this eagle on here, this eagle eye perspective, this high perspective. You know, the eagles are the highest flying birds. They can see things with such clarity at such a distance, and I feel like you're being asked to expand your point of view, to expand and heal this anger that is within, because there's a lot of masculine energy here, and I feel like that's you standing up for yourself, but there's a little bit of anger associated with this experience, and anger is there to teach us to set healthy boundaries, but it also masks sadness. It masks our emotions, the true emotion, and the true emotion is sadness and things that have hurt us. And so when we get hurt, we immediately get angry, because the anger is there to say, I need to set a boundary because this individual doesn't have the best intentions for me. They're being a little reckless with their words, they're being reckless with their actions, and they are very unaware of how they are inflicting pain on others. And so I need to set a boundary for myself so I don't get too involved with them, where our energies aren't intermingling, because I don't want to be hurt with this individual. I don't want to be in that type of relationship where they can hurt me on a serious level, because they're not being careful. They're not even careful with their own hearts, you know. So there's nothing wrong with them. It's understanding how to work with the emotion and the energy and why they're there, what they're teaching you. And it's learning to see these emotions as messengers. They're teaching us something, and it's allowing us to be more sensitive to the subtle energies. What am I'm feeling this way because, and there's a reason for it. If I am around an individual and all of a sudden I feel fearful, is because that is my instinct telling me that this individual doesn't have good intentions. I don't want to say evil intentions, but they don't have good intentions. You know, they're thinking negative thoughts, and I can feel them, radiating this way. And, just like have you ever walked into a room when somebody's had an argument and you just feel the tension in the room? Like, you can pick up on those subtle energies, and there's a reason for that. It's part of our animal instinct, we sense when there's danger. We sense when somebody has ill intentions towards us, and there's a reason for that. And if you numb your heart and shut your heart off from feeling them, then you won't know a friend from an enemy, somebody who has ill intentions versus somebody who has truthful intentions, because we're second guessing ourselves, and we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust people. So as far as we're concerned, nobody, we end up cutting ourselves off from everyone, and we don't trust anybody, and that can be a lonely life. And you're being asked to open up your heart and heal this point of view, heal this anger, heal this perspective. You have faith, and have faith and trust in yourself. We have a lot of purple here. This is you having that connection to God, and maybe restoring your faith that there was a purpose for this. Sometimes when people experience a lot of pain and trauma and tragedies, they end up blaming God, and they lose their faith, and they start questioning, why do bad things happen to good people? And it's like, bad things happen to everyone, and they're there to teach us lessons. That's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to achieve wisdom, expand our awareness and our consciousness, expand the way that we love, and to truly understand what that feels. And a lot of times we learn and grow through the hardest things. Pain is our biggest teacher, and it can be very hard sometimes. And we have anger. Yes. Time to heal that anger, shift that point of view. We have the hidden path, the marriage of spirit and matter. And see, this is you taking your vision, your light, your love, and going within into these dark spaces, into these fearful places where you experience this, the sense of loss and the sense of, fear and anger, wherever it's at, and bringing your love into that situation so that you can understand what you were learning. And we learn through the opposite experience of what we want. So if we want love and we want a balanced relationship and we want happiness in our life, we end up having to experience the opposite of that so we can understand the value of the thing that we do want, so that we know what it truly feels like to have it, because we've experienced what it's like not to have it. So then we know the value of them, you know? It's like you can't appreciate the darkness without the light, you know? You can't appreciate the sky without the stars. You know, you wouldn't be able to see the stars if there wasn't the darkness. And that's the perspective that you have to have. Like, you wouldn't know love and right relationship if you haven't experienced the opposite of that. If you hadn't experienced bad relationships, you wouldn't be able to appreciate good relationships. And Earth is a school of duality. This is why we're here. It's night and day. It's male and female. It's up and down. You know, it's a world of opposites. And so this is what we're here to learn, you know. We have Medicine Mother. Honor your inner knowing. Listen to your heart. Your heart is your guiding system. It never steers you wrong. But listen to your heart, and also listen to your gut instincts. If you don't feel safe around an individual, then don't trust that individual. If your heart is telling you that this person truly is sorry or they mean what they say, watch their actions. Don't just listen to words, you know. Follow up on that. Watch how they act. Do they follow through with what they say? You know, be more observant of things. Don't just easily trust anybody anymore. And I feel like you've learned that. We have Amethyst. Transformation, certainty, and confidence. And I love that. This is, again, the violet flame coming through here, where you learn to be more trustful and confident in yourself and confident in your ability, because you have gone on this healing journey and opened yourself up and healed and gone through this beautiful transformation. That's what your heart is calling you to do, to bring in this healing light. Maybe working with amethyst is a great stone. It's a spiritual, a master crystal. It can help you let go of anger and bring more peace and calming energies. It can also help you have more understanding. It's very good for healing anybody who has any kind of addiction to any substance abuse of any kind. It's also really good for nightmares. If you have an issue with having these reoccurring thought patterns and memories that come up for you, this is a great stone to work with, okay? I'm going to get some animal messengers for you. I was saying in pile number 1, animals are great heart healers. They work with the emotional body. Anyone who has experienced any kind of like emotional trauma, they usually have them working with animals, because animals are unconditionally loving. They don't ask anything from us, and they just help us tap back into our heart space and open our heart a little bit more and bring a little more love into that energy, into our energy. All right, so we have the polar bear mystic. Know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you face adversity. Take time to rest, dream, and renew your strength. Embrace your psychic abilities. You carry the shaman within. You have the ability to heal yourself. You have the ability to see things from a higher perspective and use that energy. Learn to love yourself, mother yourself. Take the time that you need to heal. Time to go within. Ooh. We have dog friend. Aww. Today I will love without condition. My energy and enthusiasm are an inspiration. I choose to be happy. I am a protector and a friend. Yeah, I feel like you're looking for that loyalty here. You know, and dogs are, you know, a man's best friend. So I feel like, you know, this was somebody who was very close to you and they betrayed your heart, and you're being asked to love and understand, you know, the situation from a different perspective, and have more love and compassion and understanding for yourself and for others, and to let this go so that you can move forward. And forgiveness isn't for the individual, you know, and forgiveness isn't saying that it was okay. Forgiveness is saying that I release you and me from having to continue this energy, continue this debate, continue this argument any longer. I'm done with the situation. I've learned all I can learn from it. Thank you for teaching me these lessons on how to love myself, how to set healthy boundaries, how to watch people's actions and not just take their word for it, you know. And you've taught me how to love myself and how to be true to myself and my feelings, and to acknowledge my truth. So thank you so much. I wish you well, send you away on your journey. Therefore, we don't have to continue any more repeating patterns in any further lifetime, in any further incarnation. All right, you want to set yourself free from having to repeat this lesson over and over again, just with different individuals or the same individual in another incarnation. Final card, we have personal choice. Close your eyes. What animal do you imagine? What strengths are they known for? What wisdom do they share? Embrace these qualities. So you're being asked to work with the animal kingdom and choose an animal guide that exemplifies the type of energy you want to embody for yourself and in your heart. So if you feel like you want to be a lion heart, you want to invoke that energy of that animal spirit to give you strength, to give you courage, to face your fears, to stand in your truth, to have pride, to have that wisdom, to have that confidence in yourself, you know, to be the leader of the pack, to be an individual, to share your voice, to command respect and demand, you know, loyalty from those who say they love you, okay? And to stand in your truth, stand in your strength, pile number 2. All right, guys, this was your reading. If this resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Give me a like or subscribe. And I'm sending y'all so much love. Thank you for being here again. And I'd love to have you back for future readings. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day. Hi, pile number 3. This is your reading if you chose the strawberry quartz crystal with the heart card. A little bit about strawberry quartz. This is a stone of self-love and understanding. It's also really good for helping you to understand your feelings as well as feelings of others, and it encourages you to be more of your authentic self. It's also really good if you feel insecure. It's a great stone to help you be more intent with who you are and standing in your truth and grounding yourself. It's also a really good stone for balance and connection to your higher self, and it's also good for helping you to enlighten any kind of painful emotion. See how it has all these little glittery sparkles in there? That is like shining your light into those painful places within your heart. So, and I think it's really synchronistic that you got the heart card. And just with this one image here, you see this pattern or this nest, I would say, of different types of, looks like wheat and other types of flowers, but it also symbolizes like the barriers that we put up to wall ourselves off from feeling our heart, especially if we've experienced some type of pain. So it's a little bit of protection, but also we have the people in the boat, and sometimes we can journey out of our heart space sometimes anytime we experience some kind of pain or conflict in our lives. I want to see what your other cards are here. We have the Warrior, the Queen, Apocalypsis, and dead end. Okay. Let's see if I can put this one over here. All right, pile number 3. All right, so I feel like with these cards that are joining the heart here, how we were talking about this being the wall, I feel like you have experienced a lot of hurt, and some things have caused you to maybe harden yourself a little bit and maybe come out of your heart space, and you're no longer in your heart center. But I feel like maybe you're trying to hold a certain position and you're being asked to let it go. That this energy that you're holding on to, maybe it's a grudge, or you're wanting somebody to give you an apology for something that they've done. And sometimes, like, we can't expect things from people when they don't feel like they're wrong in any kind of way, that they feel just in their choices and their decisions. And sometimes, I mean, it's like beating your head up against the wall. You can't force anybody to change unless they want to. And the sad part about that is that a lot of times when we want these relationships with certain individuals so bad, and they're not meeting our expectations, or they're not honoring our boundaries, and they treat us very disrespectfully, and they don't feel like they owe any kind of apology, and we can kind of get into a stance where it's like a face-off, where neither one is wanting to budge, and the other one thinks that they're right, and neither one of you are seeing the other person's perspective, and so there's no bending and there's no movement. It's just, you know, you're at a dead end here. There's no give on either side, which means there's no growth. Nobody's looking into their hearts and trying to see anything from a different point of view or a different perspective. And I feel like right now you're being asked to go back, journey back to your center, back into your heart space, and to see things from a different perspective. You've gone as far as you can with this relationship and with this experience. And it's time for you to come out of your mind, out of the ego, and go back into the heart space and try a different tactic. Because with the warrior, you know, the warrior is about fighting a battle, but it has to be one that is of, you know, a just cause. And even if you feel that this is a rightful battle, like battling, it's like you can't put out a fire with more fire. You know, you're not going to get anywhere with that. Somebody has to be the water. Somebody has to be the one that is, I'll say the mature one, but the one who has the higher perspective, you know, who has more tenderness, more heart, more understanding, the higher perspective over the situation, and understanding why the situation happened in the first place, you know. Because we have the queen here, and the queen, usually she is somebody who is, you know, she serves the people. She's about uplifting others. She has a sense of grace about her. She knows she doesn't have to do anything. She sits on her throne, and she knows she is supported by Source Creator. Everything will come to her and flows to her. But if we're not in that mode, you know, the king represents the ego. You know, it can be one, in the negative spectrum, it represents the ego. But in the positive spectrum, you know, a king who rules the land, he knows his strength, he knows his power, he's loyal, he's truthful, he's honest, you know, he's a leader that you want to look up to. But if they're not in their positive energies, they're in the negative energies, which is the ego, the tyrant, the greedy one, you know. And so if the king represents the ego, the queen is the expression of the ego. You know, it's that I am right, you are wrong, and my point of view is the point of view, and it's trying to enforce our belief system or our way of seeing things on another individual who isn't willing to bend their point of view either. And so you're at this like dead end point where you can no longer go any further with this situation, with this individual. And when you finally come to that place, there's like a sense of acceptance that it's time to move on and to let this go. And a little bit of grief can follow that because there is an ending, and you have to come to terms that this, you can't go any further with this energy, and that it's not serving you and it's not serving anybody else. It's actually creating like toxicity and a broken heart. It's actually walling you off. It's taking away your power. It's not allowing you to see things in a different way or a different point of view. And then you have apocalypsis here. And with that, it represents, you know, perspectives that are just like dual perspectives, not wanting to bend. It's a, you know, a face-off, but it's also the illusion being dispelled, you know, seeing things as they really are from the truth that's being revealed. That, and it can, you know, I can understand that this can break your heart, because maybe you thought this individual or this relationship or this situation was something that it's not, and it's turned into something that has truly broken your heart, or, you know, made you second guess yourself. You know, maybe there was a little bit of deception there, lies, deceit. There was a lot of hiding or untruth somewhere. And I can understand that, because sometimes you can think somebody is a certain way, especially if they're in your life for so many years, and then you find out, you know, in this one incident that, you know, they can hurt you so deeply by their actions. And then when you can look back over the whole relationship, you kind of see that it's been there all along, and you were just unwilling to acknowledge it and to face it and see it. You know, it's like ignoring those red flags out of your love for wanting to be in a relationship with them, and not wanting to stir the pot, not wanting to have that friction or confrontation, or set those boundaries for yourself. And everything is just kind of like reached ahead, and it's time for the truth to come out. You know, time for you to truly own your feelings about the situation and to speak your truth. And sometimes in doing that, you end up losing the connection. But the connection was really only there because you were creating it, you were holding on to it, and you didn't want to sever ties with this individual. And all along, it was like they were creating things to try to get you to loosen your grip so that you could, you know, loosen the knot and separate. Let's say that these are karmic relationships, you know, and in the karmic relationships, you're there to teach one another something. And you could be learning from this individual how to have healthy boundaries, how to be independent and not codependent, how to learn to stand up for yourself, how to set healthy standards for people that are in your life, and having more self-value and self-worth, learning that you are, you know, of high value, and that you deserve to be treated with respect and honesty and, you know, loyalty. This individual was teaching you how to recognize an individual who is not truly there supporting you, you know. And I feel like you're at the end of this experience with these types of karmic relationships, because we have the snake here twice. So I feel like this is something that has been passed down generationally for many generations in your lineage, and it's time for it to end. It's time for you to stand up and claim your place on the throne, and know that you are loved and protected and honored and respected, and you deserve healthier relationships. And with this comes a little bit of grief and sadness over the loss of, you know, that type of love that you thought that you had with this individual, with this experience. And essentially that wasn't the truth, you know. There may have been moments, but there were more of the other heartbreaks, you know. And if you didn't love them so much, it probably wouldn't hurt so bad. And so honor the time that you had with one another, and the lessons that you learned from each other, because they're going to learn their lessons too without you being in their life. They're on their own journey of learning as well. So if you have learned the lesson, then it's time to move forward and cut the cord so that you can begin a new journey and have some new experiences. So that's just with these. Let's see what the other cards have to reveal. We have Lady Nada. Expanded heart, openness, liberation. Let yourself love and be loved. And see, this is what's wanting to come in for you. You're being asked to open your heart and expand your heart. Expand the way that you see things. Let go of this battle or the need to be right, you know. Because no matter what you believe and how you feel, it's not going to change the other person's opinion, you know. And they're not. Because they feel that they're right. And so it's just like this constant battle. And so somebody has to just walk away and say, I'm no longer having this conversation. You can't change me and I can't change you. And so it's just moving forward. We're not meant to be. It's not meant to be. The blue beings, light transmission, wounds healed, important information, and charging up. So this is, yeah. The heart is wanting to heal. If it hasn't already, then this is on the way for you now. So some of you may have had to go through this situation and you're coming into a place where your heart is opening and expanding because you've done the work and you've healed. You're understanding the situation from a higher perspective and your heart is receiving more love. It's opening up and expanding, and more information, more understanding, more compassion is coming in for you. Oh, we have Kuan Yin. Enlightened action. Choose compassion. Move forward with grace. Yeah, it's understanding the roles that we play, you know, in our lives, and the roles that other individuals play in our life as well. We're always learning. We're always growing. We're always trying to see things from a different perspective. And sometimes we get stuck in our perspective of how we want things to be instead of how they really are. And we can't force anybody to learn their lessons. We can't force them to see things from a different perspective. Some people just want to be right, and they want to right fight. They don't care. They don't want to see your point of view. They just don't care. And it's sad, especially when you're the person who's very open and empathic and wanting to build the bridge and keep the relationship, and they aren't. They're doing everything they can to sever it, and you're still holding on. And you have to understand, like, why? What is it that I need from this relationship? My heart just, it opened for you guys right now. I got a little emotional. And there's nothing that you need from them. And that's the thing. It is for you to love you, for you to pour into you, for you to see you don't need anything outside yourself. Everything is already within, and you need to pour your love and affection and appreciation and acceptance for yourself, for who you are, and the type of heart that you have, how big your heart is, that you're willing to love somebody through their faults, you know. And that's somebody who has such a big heart, because you can understand that somebody is only acting out of their pain and having understanding of their pain, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to hurt you, you know. That's the sad part. Sorry guys, I had to restart your video because the dog started barking. It is very dark, super early at this time frame, and so we have, you know, 43 acres, and I own a big farm, and we have lots of critters, and so we have a lot of patrol dogs, the Pyrenees, and they're out howling at the coyotes that are running the fields at the moment. So they were really close to the house. The dogs were barking, so I had to pause the video. But anyways, like I was saying, that you have a big heart, and you know, all of us experience pain. None of us are above experiencing trauma, and sometimes we act out of our pain, and we need to understand where the pain comes from so that we can heal within, to heal our own hearts. Therefore, we're not inflicting it on others. And we're not acting from an unconscious place, or acting from a place of integrity and knowing our truth and facing our fears and making our fears our guides, our teachers, and trying to understand them so they're no longer like the perceived boogeyman. It's not something we fear. They are messengers to show us where we have abandoned ourselves and where we have maybe neglected connection and reassurance and nurturing within our own beings. We have the Fates. We have come to the edge. Yeah, it's time for you to come to this point in your life where you say, enough's enough. I'm tired of this experience. I'm tired of having to repeat this situation. Maybe this has occurred many times in several different relationships, and maybe you're not understanding like the source of this experience and why does this pattern keep repeating. And it's something that is within you that has created like it's almost like a magnetic pull where you constantly are in this cycle because there's something you need to learn from these experiences. And it's getting in there and connecting to yourself to learn, what am I learning here? You know, what am I trying to understand? And understanding that there's some things that we just can't change, and coming to that place of accepting and knowing what we can change and what we can't change. And we can't change anybody else. And the only thing we can do is to change ourselves and to accept who we really are, and the truth of who others are as well. It's taking those blinders off and seeing the truth, see beyond the current situation, exactly, and seeing things from a different perspective, not seeing them from what you want them to be, but as they really are. And sometimes that truth can be so devastating sometimes and so heartbreaking because we don't want to accept that that's the truth. You know, we can deny it as much as we want and try to push off that experience or that knowing and hope that no, that's not what it means, and no, that's not who they are. And unfortunately, you can only keep the truth at bay for so long, and you're just being asked to have your faith and overcome your fear of stepping into like an unknown space, because sometimes we can get used to, you know, being treated a certain kind of way, and that's because that's the pattern. We're used to being treated and put down this way, and it's like, you know, the devil, you know, I've always been talked to this way and treated like this. I've always felt less than. I've always been made to feel like my feelings didn't count and put everybody before me, and that's just kind of the way my life has been. And it's time for you to set new standards for yourself, to shift those patterns and understand that it's something that you have the authority to create that change and that shift, so that those are not your experiences. And understanding, why do I have these experiences is because you are looking for something outside of yourself that nobody else can give you. Only you can give yourself that unconditional love, the unconditional acceptance. Trust and thrive. We have the stag here. Yeah, trust in yourself. Trust that you will be guided. Trust that this is the path. Harness mystic power. High Priestess, stand in your power. Stand in your truth. You will overcome this, pile number 3. You will get through this. You will heal from this. I'm not sure where to put these. Maybe I'll put them in the center up here. We have the Hunter. Track down your fears and desires. Yeah. Be brave and honest with yourself in facing your fears. Standing up for yourself and your truth and setting healthy boundaries. And having the perspective and awareness whenever something does come up for you, some kind of heavy feeling or emotion, sit with that feeling and try to understand it so that you can release it and resolve it. Where did this first originate from? You know, when did this pattern first start to occur? When did I first feel this way? When did I first tolerate it? And most of the time it comes from our childhood. And Kuan Yin is a great master healer for healing the inner child. So you may want to work with her. But most of the time our patterns, our programming comes from our childhood, when there are moments where we feel neglected, our emotions weren't nurtured properly, our parents were dealing with their own issues in their own life, maybe having memories of their childhood getting triggered by having their own children, and so they're all up in their headspace and they can't quite nurture us the way we need to be nurtured. And children can't communicate their emotions. They don't even understand their emotions. They just know how to feel them. And we learn what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And we learn how to push our emotions down in a way. Sometimes we're taught, you know, shut up, don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about, you know, or they just don't have time to properly help us work through our emotions and understand them and why we have them. And so we end up developing, you know, patterns and belief systems and structures around those feelings. And so maybe we grew up in a household where this type of relationship was acceptable. And so we learned that this was, you know, through our own environment, that this was normal. And as you get up older, you realize that it's very toxic and it's not normal and it's not healthy. And so trying to get out of those types of patterns, you know, can be difficult. And it takes a lot of bravery and strength and trust to be able to go within and to face those fears and those shadows, you know. But coming to your heart, try to remain in your heart space. Come back to your heart. The heart brings you to the present moment. And the way you can do that is by getting out in nature, listening to music, anything that helps soothe your soul. What makes you feel connected to your heart space? And that can be by, you know, watching old movies, hanging out with animals and children, things that remind you of your youth, the good times of your youth, you know. And definitely, you know, Mother Nature, like I was saying, because when we're connected to nature, we're more present with our energy, with ourselves, with our environment. And earth, when you rearrange the letters, it spells heart. It helps us connect to our heart space. So you're being asked to get back into this heart space, to travel back to the heart and come out of the mind so much. We have mystery, creativity, moonlight goddess, repressed emotions, healing and reflection. Last one, eternal dance, movement, wheel of life, path of least resistance. Okay, so with these cards here, there is a little bit of mystery ahead for you because, you know, some things, the new path is unknown, right? And so it can be a little scary, the new beginning, because let's say this is what you've known, this is the life you've lived, this is the type of relationships you've always had, and now you're trying to create something new for yourself, and it's an unknown territory, right? So you're not quite sure how to navigate a new landscape. So, but use your creativity, use your inspiration, connecting back to your heart, and start acting on those things that give you pleasure and joy and excitement and what you're passionate about, and start there. That will connect you and tap you back into your heart and remind you, you know, to come back to your center and not be so trapped in the mind and this battle and this conflict with this individual and this argument that's been ongoing, you know, for however long it's been taking place. And it's time for you to come back into your center and into your heart. Allow yourself to feel and release any emotions that you've been holding on to, that you've pushed down and you've tried to ignore. The grief of the loss, you know, the pain that you experience, the heartbreak, the heartache, you know, the betrayal, all those things. Allow yourself to accept them and release them and honor them, because they were your truth. That is how you feel. And when we're young and we're children, we don't understand them, you know, and so sometimes we do shove them in because we don't want others to see us be vulnerable. We try to protect ourselves as much as possible because you are vulnerable, because you are young, because you have no control. And so now you're an adult and you can say who's allowed to hurt you or not. You know, you can allow people into your space and into your life. You can choose who's a part of your circle, who your family is, who your partner is. You get to make those choices. And there is big change coming in for you when you step into this heart space. There is relief. There is going to be brighter days ahead. You're going to find your source of power, your source of strength. Yeah, follow your heart. Follow the things that right now give you a sense of peace and joy. Oops, sorry, I forgot that wand. Right now, I'm going to ask for some closing messages from the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom, they help us connect back to our heart space because they are emotional creatures. They follow their instincts and they help us reconnect back to our heart. When you think of like, let's say war veterans and stuff, anytime people have experienced some kind of emotional trauma and it's hard for them to, you know, reintegrate back into society and stuff, they have them work with animals because animals are more peaceful, they're more emotional, they don't ask for anything, and it takes them a minute to trust a human, you know. And so, but they help us connect more back to our heart chakra. So I wanted to get some messages from the animal kingdom to help empower you. Messages for pile number 3 for the heart chakra. Pile number 3, please. And closing messages. Woo, that one just flew out. We have the orca whale adventure. Dare to do things differently. Sing your wild song. Manifest your travel dreams. Attempt the great journey with confidence. Be loyal. Friends and family are your treasures. Be brave. You are more powerful than you know. Thank you for the orca whales. They're telling you to be brave on this journey, going to your heart space and allowing yourself to grieve over the pain and the feelings that you feel there and to release them. You will find so much peace when you just allow yourself to cry and allow the emotions to flow out, and you will feel such a relief. You will feel so much lighter because you will have come to that place of acceptance, you know, which then will help you move forward. Ooh. Okay, they all try to fly out at once. We have tiger, fire. I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. I am bold. I am brave. Mighty forces come to my aid. Use that fire to support your emotional release, to find your passion, to connect back into your heart space. Do the things that you're passionate about, things that make you feel alive, that bring you joy, that make you feel peaceful and excited, and let this go. It drains your energy. It's very toxic. It's very heavy. It actually is preventing you from living your purpose, your soul's calling here. We have Unicorn. Invite possibilities. You are sovereign. What? You are the sovereign. Oh my God. You are the oh my God, I can't even say it, guys. Of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light. Abandon the darkness. Go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. Ooh, I love that. And unicorns, you know, their horn represents, you know, that ability to see beyond just the physical. You know, it's looking beyond the words that people tell you and observing the actions and seeing things from higher perspectives. And we have these butterflies of transformation. It's no longer seeing things from the ground level. It's seeing things from the higher perspective, being able to transform the energies into your strength and into your power. We have pronghorn. Action. Now is the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen senses will lead you to success. You will navigate this territory by listening to your instincts, trusting yourself, listening to your heart. Act with confidence. You will succeed. Pile number 3. You will succeed in your journey and your healing experience here. Healing the heart center. And you will regain your balance and your stability and confidence in yourself. You just have to be brave enough to go on the journey. Alright, pile number 3, this was your reading. Thank you so much for being here. I hope it relates to you. If you have tuned into this channel, thank you so much for your support. And I hope to have you here for future readings. Y'all like, share, and subscribe if you feel called to. If this is your space, your chosen place, I thank you so much for being here with me. And I will see you guys soon. Y'all take care and have a blessed day.